there's so many other professions that does get taken over by AI, for example, or gets easier to do. You don't need a big console anymore.
Hmm.
Times does move on, but then I can also understand the fear of like, oh, there's a new app. Let's take Lander for example. People can now upload their song there and get it mastered without the person being hired.
Hmm.
So I do get the fear, but then there's also the thing you got to move with the times, I guess, as well. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I'm fully like a technologist, like,
mm,
and I mean, you can fight it or you can kind of go
yeah.
roll with it. I mean, it's going to happen one way or the other, and I think that um, because that was, I mean, we really from like I think the first conversation me and Andrew ever had with somebody outside. It was at one of the PROs. I
Mm,
mean, their pushback was exactly that. It was like, what's going to happen to all the people that get replaced? It's like, look, you know, we're not saying we're replacing these. When we haven't even gotten into any of the AI,
right,
which we
right,
can
right,
jump
right.
into that we're gonna, but um, it's it's going to evolve. I mean, these
Mm-hmm.
things evolve one way or the other.
Mm,
So wouldn't we prefer to have some musicians who understand this and have been there, and are kind of bridging the generations between them doing this rather than, some, I don't know, big bad tech company coming in and just building some AI that's just like doesn't take into account the actual experience that, people that are using the application are really going to understand.
mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
I mean,
mean,
I'm all about technology and progress with technology,
mm-hmm.
so I'm not scared of it, and I understand how disruptive that can be sometimes. But I think that it's always surprising how uh, how things evolve in ways that you don't even really realize. Like, I mean, these problems people figure it out. The world evolves along with the technology, and so I mean, do people really want to be turning knobs for the rest of time? In a studio, it's like let's get that part out of the way,
Right.
which then actually opens up engineers and producers to be more creative. So
Mm-hmm.
there's it's not like these jobs are going to go away. An engineer and a producer is another set of ears during the
Mm,
creative process. So to
mm.
kind of free their mind up to be more creative, I think is what's really going to happen, rather than them just not having any sort of role in this experience at all.
Yeah, that's I think it's fascinating, man. And
Hmm.
yeah, what's your point of view, Andrew, on the same topic?
I mean, I agree with what a lot of Matt said, and um, there are going to be people, like I said in the beginning, that are going to continue to go to recording studios that are, like because that's the way they like to do it. But there's a whole nother world that doesn't know that that's how they like to do it,
Mm,
and um, that's okay. I think that that's good. Like there are so many things, like Matt is saying, that technology has pushed us towards that we can, get super down about like, oh man, like I just, wish that it could go back to this. But then like after 3 weeks, you're like, oh, okay, well, whatever, this is how it is. You just get used to it.
mm, mm,
And, I'm not about taking other people's jobs, but by any means, especially in the music industry where it seems so, it changes all the time, but it's like, yeah, you can open it up to be, like Matt was saying, be more creative. Then that's awesome.
mm,
Like it's the fear of the unknown is,
mm,
I
mm.
think, crippling to a lot of us. And I'll be the first to raise my hand in saying that as well. But it's like there's so many times we've walked into the unknown unknowingly and embraced it and been fine.
Mm.
And so it's just like I think that the technology is. I think it's going to help a lot of more people out than it's going to hinder a lot of people.
Mm.
So
I
Yeah, I was
mean,
just gonna say that I think like
yeah.
there's such a huge positive upside on that. I mean,
Mm,
we're talking to people in South Africa
mm,
right
yeah.
now that are like they're like, God, so many of our students here and so many people around this continent like don't have access to a lot of these tools. Like, this is amazing. We got to get this out there. Like there's so many people that are going to be able to make music
mm-hmm.
because of
Hmm.
this, rather than the other way around. So I think that there's the positive is like you know a
Mm.
thousand x of what any negative would be around the shift of this.
Right.
Totally.